you be helped, you and the children, the family, and make great contributions to our people on this planet.
Nice, bro. It's a good one. That's great. Very nice, bro.
Tikkunola.
There you go. Tikkunola is good. Okay, so good morning. Hope you're a nice Shabbos. Last 3 weeks, we on Sunday is we do different halachic topics, trying to get exposure to all the beautiful areas of our life. And last 3 weeks was a bit of a sad topic, but it's a beautiful topic at the same time. We went through a lot of chapters in the Shulchan Aruch, and it was just mini 3-part series. I thought I would do something on Shabbos. Never go wrong running about Shabbos. Comes around about once a week, if I'm not mistaken. And it's such an important topic. And by Avelas, people make the horrible mistake, oh, it's all minhagim, which is not true. We learn Avelas, there's the rices, the Rabbanan, there's minhagim, it's a full range. Shabbos, everyone knows, it's very, very serious. No playing around with Shabbos. Person violates Shabbos. Misa, it's very, very serious, Shabbos. But as much as we know how serious it is, there's so many areas that we just don't know. We can spend years and years and years just for Shabbos. We're not going to do it. We'll just have a couple of weeks on it, and then we'll learn a little bit about the 3 weeks, 9 days. And there's so many areas that we could take up. I decided to take up one fascinating area. It's known as Amira La'akum. Oh, yes. So depending on where we come from around the globe, we all have different experiences. Some come from some different parts around the globe where it's very common to have Gentiles living in our houses or visiting on Shabbos, how to help out. And the famous question comes up about what? What can you ask him to do? Can you ask him, her, to do Melacha, to hint? What about a rabbinic Melacha? There's a lot of interesting stuff. And even here in Israel, where it's not the same situation as many of us had in Chutz La'aretz, where many people had lived-ins in Chutz La'aretz, and it's just not the same here, different financial situations. Still, it comes up quite often, very often on a Friday night. I get a knock on the door. I'm a sweet, naive guy. I assume just people get knocking to say hello, give me a good Shabbos hug. Yeah. Which they are, but in addition, I say, you're looking for a guy, aren't you? And then what's the case? It's how do you know? They want to first discuss the halachic, what happened and what went off, the freezer, the fridge, the lights. And then if halachically we could use the guy, then, maybe there's someone in the neighborhood who has a helper. So it does come up, not as much as it did in Chutz La'aretz, where many people said a different standard of living there. But here in Israel, it comes up in the shul. It could come up with the lights go off and stuff like that. And just to get the halachic categories is so beautiful. Yes.
What?
Hands here.
I'll repeat it. Oh, yeah, we have Shabbos guy. What about a Shabbos Jew? Good one. You make early Shabbos. Can I go ahead? Yeah, simple case. I usually make early Shabbos. I feel like early Shabbos. Not that making early Shabbos is so simple. It has halachic challenges to it. But most of the Haredi world, if I'm not mistaken, they're not making early Shabbos. It's not simple, but it's likely fine with some challenges. So we make early Shabbos, so we get home and we say, we've got to put tape on the fridge, right, on the lights. You go ahead and see someone on the way to Shabbos, we call it late Shabbos or on time Shabbos. And we say, hey, buddy, can you be my Shabbos Jew? And can you tape up the fridge for me? Great question. Okay, in case I don't get to it, the Shulchan Aruch actually passes, yes, you can. You can. They didn't accept Shabbos. You might have thought, well, just like I can't ask a guy, it's my Shabbos, I can't have Melacha done for me. It would be a logical possibility that would apply to a Jew. But how can we say not? And interesting ideas, why not? Okay, so it's a fantastic topic. Amir La'akum, and it's a serious topic. It's very much part of our Shabbos. It is a rabbinic halacha. The rabbis asked it for a whole bunch of reasons, but they basically to go ahead, even if you don't do the malacha, but all the malacha and the activities are being done, it's just like it ends up being a day of chol, like a regular mundane day, and that's not the purpose of Shabbos. So you got out of it by you not turning the lights on off, you're not turning the radio off and on. You're not turning the phone off and on, and you're not cooking, but you're having someone else do all of it. It's just not Shabbos. So the rabbis prohibit all of this. And there are some great terms over here, some really great terms to know. There are certain leniencies that are built in. The biggest leniency is absolutely shocking to me. I don't fully understand it, as we're going to learn in a moment. But let's get some nice terms here, okay? Let's get some nice terms. So one term is you have the Isser of Amira. You cannot ask a guy, a Gentile, to do something for you, okay? And there's an Isser Hana. You can't benefit. Has nothing to do with the Isser Amira. Because let's say you didn't violate the Isser of asking him to do Melacha. You didn't even tell him to do it. But he sees you're in the room. In this room in Harmony, you have a shiur 11 o'clock Friday night. Totally dark, there's not light outside. And you're all reading a space together, and the lights go out. The lights go out. And he can't read. So the guy knows. I don't know if he's a guy or Jew over here. But let's say it's a guy.
I don't know either. They don't know what they are. They don't know what they are.
So you go ahead, and assuming he's a Gentile, and he puts it on because he knows that you're in the middle of having a shiur on the parsha. And it went off. On Talmud Devorah, and it went off. And it's Friday night. And he puts it on. He didn't say anything. You were giving this shiur Bahan and just discussing it because you realize he put it on because he's trying to help you out. So there's no Amira because I didn't have any Amira. I didn't say anything. But there's the Hana question. So there's two separate topics. There's the Hana, they can't derive benefit, and there's the Amira. And you have to analyze and explore both prohibitions. The Amira, and see when it's usher, when it's not usher, and Hana, when it's usher, when it's not usher. Yes. No, when he puts the light on, I'm getting Hana from the light he put on because now I'm reading.
But if he didn't put it on,
I can't read.
How would that create Hana?
No, when he puts it on, that's the Hana.
Enough for you.
Now I could read.
Yeah.
That's the Hana.
But
We
but
used to.
how could you that? I understand that it's Hana, the light is on.
Right.
But if he didn't put it on, that would be the opposite of Hana. You can't even do the tefillah.
Yeah, but I'm getting now Hana from the activity he did. Now you could say, wait, maybe I'm allowed to for the sake of davening. Maybe. But we have to first get our categories down. There's a category of Amira that's prohibited. There's a category of Hana that's prohibited. Now we have to look into the details. Are there exceptions to the rule? And maybe for the whole shul, there's no one to daven now. It's Friday night, no one's davening. Oh, maybe it's a mitzvah to Rabbim. And maybe in a mitzvah of Rabbim, for the whole Kehillah, maybe the Amira is waived, the prohibition of Amira, saying, and maybe the prohibition of Hana. It could be they're both waived. We have to at least get our categories and we'll look into details. Yes.
Another example that actually came up in my family is if somebody has a cleaning lady every Tuesday and the person is not home normally, the person works. But this year, some yontif came out on a Tuesday and Maria the maid shows up. The person didn't say to her, don't come, it's yontif. She comes, she turns on the vacuum cleaner, she throws in a couple of loads of laundry.
Nice.
She
Very good.
washes all the dishes from last night's company.
Very good.
And various other things.
Great.
Are you allowed to have somebody to do that?
Very good. Very
Nobody
good.
says anything to her
So
because she
you
knows
know,
what to do.
Amira, he didn't say anything about that, but she certainly knew what to do. So we have to analyze Amira and Hana. Those are the categories. I want to see how to apply it.
Yeah, I'll tell you how, as an example of what we did anyway, I think we were advised this way. Let's say my next door neighbor was a boy in America. And let's say the air conditioning went out. First, we would invite him over and we would say, aren't you hot? Isn't it warm for you? Fine, he hopped, whatever. And then we'd ask him to sit a while.
Mhm.
You know, this
Right.
way it
Good.
was hot for him.
the message.
And he
Right.
got the benefit of
Good.
the air
So we're
conditioning.
gonna, so good. So the advice that you've given is to avoid Amira. You didn't say anything. You just figured it out. Now you say, yeah, but I did hint.
Yeah, I did.
So hinting is called what in halachic terms? What's a hint in halacha in Hebrew? Remez. It's called remisa. in halacha.
Is that allowed?
What if you do remiza? So that's brought down in halacha.
That's
Okay,
what?
it's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch that remiza at times will be mutter. But wait, even if my remiza, now my hinting is not violating my amira, let's say, I still have to deal with the isur of hana. I always have both. I could go ahead and say, listen, buddy, do me a favor, put the lights, and I say, put the lights in over there for my neighbor. So I'm not getting hana, so I don't have the hana issue. That's the neighbor that's going to benefit, but I had the isur of amira. Here, if you say that remiza, that hinting, well, I didn't hint and say, oh, it'd be really nice if you turned on the air conditioning. That's called remiza derech tzivoy, where my hinting is like a command. Not a can't just say, oh, it's hot in here. So that remiza could be permissible, but now I have to deal with what? The hana. Wait, I'm getting hana, so you have to define that. And it might be mutter, like you were told. I'm not saying it's not, but Amir al-Akim, you could summarize with this very important introduction, which is what? There's the two categories. There's Amira and there is Hana. We have to define what's Amira, and we need to define what's Hana. And once you have that, then the topic is clear. There's a lot of details, of course, but that's the overview. Okay? Yes. Right? Correct. 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 So does that help? Correct. It is their benefit. It's true. It is true they're doing it for themselves. And we'll see if there's any real heta from that. Okay. Certain times it could be. Let's say you don't ask them to do a malach. You ask them to clean the dishes. And they could clean the dishes with water, cold water. And so that's a way to clean dishes. The Gentile is a lot easier and more efficient to clean it with the sponge and hot water. That's what we call adate denafshe. That's term number 3 for the day. Adate denafshe. He's doing or she's doing it for themselves. Meaning you are just asking to get the dishes clean. That's a permissible thing. They could do it in a more efficient way. That's adate denafshe. We weren't on the boat on Shabbos, right? That's a whole nother discussion. But let's say you're in a hotel Shabbos, and you ask the waiter to go ahead, a Gentile waiter, to give you a Coke, right? Which of course that's that should be included in the meal. So that's a separate charge. Only 20, 25 shekel, I'm sure, will cover the can of Coke. So they go ahead, now they can just remember it, or they can write it down. That's their choice, how they want to record it. You're not asking them to do any melacha for you. So that's the third term for the day is called adate denafshe. Adate, denafshe of himself. He's thinking of his own good. I just asked him to clean the dishes. He chose to use a sponge, and that was his choice. So we have Amira la'akum. Under Amira, you have to define what Amira is. And one idea of Amira is Amira first remiza. That's category 1. Hana, you have the category Hana. You have to define what Hana is, which we didn't define yet. And then another category is what if he does it on his own and you never ask him to do it? He's just doing it on his own. And he's choosing to do a malacha. You didn't ask him to do that. That's known as adat to the nafsh. He's doing his own. We have to explore that too. We're just getting all the headings here. Yeah. Good. So then we have to get into when she asks you about air conditioning and heating. Person's cold and they need the air heat on, hot and need the air. What do we say about that? So we're going to look into that. So we have 3 very important categories. We have Amira, you have Hana, and then you have Adat Denafshi, where he's doing on his own. He chose to do malacha. He didn't do malacha. He could have done it without him. He could have gotten you clean dishes without any malacha. He chose to do it that way. Okay. So as opposed to you have a stain on your shirt, oh, please clean my stain. What do you mean? There's only one way to do stains, is through malacha. Whether it's a washing machine or hand wash, that's a malacha of kibbutz. You can't do that. So I didn't ask him to put it in the machine. Yeah, but he asked him to clean, which is going to be Melacha one way or another. That's forget about it. He cannot possibly do that. That's a Melacha, and that is Hana. You can't do that. Okay.
So then you cook that fish, it's not only allowed to work, it's
Yeah, P'kur Nefesh, that's a whole nother P'kur Nefesh, where of course you could ask a Gentile. The only machlokas there is, do you ask a Gentile to do it for you, or do you drive to the hospital yourself? That's the shayla. That's a machlokas. If I have to go to the hospital, so do you do a guy, so at least you're not driving, or no? Shabbos is gone. There's only one focus now, saving the person. That's a good shayla between the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. Yeah.
So in other words, if a cleaning person comes regularly and she does your wash, and it's Shabbos or it's Yom Tov, she throws in the shirt that has the stain. You're not allowed to wear it.
That's a big problem. Yeah. So they should not be doing malachas, which are inevitable malachas. They clean the floor. So then there's different ways to clean the floor. There's permissible ways also. Different ways to clean the dishes. And they chose a prohibited way. There's no permissible way to clean clothing. They should not be doing the washing jobs. They should not.
And vacuuming also.
So that would have a few other issues that come along, even though theoretically you could clean the floor with the broom in theory, right? But then when you have that kind of loud noise, that's considered a zilzul Shabbos, as opposed to the new dishwashers. So at 10:30 at night, she puts on the dishwasher. Well, you just asked her to do the dishes. She could have done it a permissible way. She decided it's easier for her to do with the dishwasher. So that is a prohibited activity, but the goal that you asked is clean dishes. That's not necessarily prohibited. And so that halacha changed from 50 years ago where dishwashers goes on to dishwasher. Now you don't even know it's on. So when you have something which is loud, it's considered zilzul. That can be a zilzul in Shabbos, the gradation of Shabbos. It should not be doing that.
Artificial intelligence, the way it's going, timers. Maybe now you can't do that stuff. But like, in
Oh
the
my gosh,
future,
yeah. We'll have Sheena another year from now. Everything will be different. I won't even be giving the share. It'll be someone else giving the share. A lot better than me.
You can't set a timer on the washing machine, can you?
Good. That's a good one. So time is a whole nother world. It's related, but it is another world. And that was a whole fascinating shayla. In theory, yes. So if Moshe was not into it, but it's a good topic.
hot water.
Huh?
It's when you use hot water.
Well, you did the timer before Shabbos. So just like you did a timer to put the lights on, so you put the timer to put the hot water on. Yeah, it's a good one. Anyways, that's the background. And then a few fantastic terms that are good terms to know. And it's a lot of terms we're learning today, but they're good terms, important terms. Okay. To me, this is shocking, even though everyone knows I'm a Meshuggah Tziyoni. I'm shocked by this law. I'm shocked. Okay. The fact that I'm a Meshuggah, you didn't hear. Oh, anyway. I said, even though I'm a crazy Tziyoni and I live and breathe the Geula in this country, every crane that I see, every piece of dust and dirt I see on my car every morning from all the building, every new building goes up, all that comes makes me nuts. I'm just so excited. Still, this halach I don't understand. I'm shocked in a good way, but I'm shocked. So you have Amira la'akum when you're asking him to do a deoraisa, a biblical, and yet if Amira la'akum when you're asking him to do a drabanan. When you're asking him to do drabanan, that is called, there's another new term. We'll go over all the terms and believe neder. When I finish, maybe someone to remind me, I'll write up all these terms and put it on the group. So we have the terms. When we'll have homework, we'll have the test next week, signed by whoever. So there's a term when I'm asking a guy to do a doraisa or ask him to do a rabbinic. There are very, very different halachas. When I'm asking you to do the rabbinic halacha, then we have what's known as a shvus. That's a very important new term. Shvus is when you do a rabbinic prohibition on Shabbos, it's called a shvus. And we ask him to do, so me asking, that is a rabbinic prohibition. But what if I'm asking to do a rabbinic prohibition? As you put on the light, I'm asking him to carry outside from Harmony. Let's say we had the era of Chas V'Shalom was down on Shabbos. I ask him to take out the garbage and put it in the bin out there. Now, as Baruch Hashem, it's amazing how Beit Shemesh is growing, but we don't have 600,000 people here yet. And most shitas would say that carrying here is biblical or rabbinic on Shabbos. Rabbinic. You need to have a certain size road, a certain amount of people. Manhattan, or Moshe Feinstein in the 1960s, when he said you cannot have there Brooklyn, Ocean Parkway. So certain places may be real biblical carrying, and maybe you can even have an Eruv up, but over here it's not. So you just ask him to take out the bin. Let's even say the courtyard. So there's no Eruv. The Eruv's down, and the courtyard is not walled in. So that's clearly a rabbinic prohibition. Yeah. So if I ask him to take the garbage out, so here's a very good term to know. That's called a shvus dishvus. I'm doing a drabanan by asking him to do a malacha, because the rabbi said I can't ask her to do malacha. And I'm asking to do what kind of malacha? Rabbinic. So that's the term. Shvus dishvus. So can I go ahead? Now, sometimes made a decree. They went only b'makom, in the place of what? Mitzvah.
What?
The baby that you
Ooh, so we're gonna finish off with the bris and an Eretz Yisrael halacha. I'm so shocked. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. So let's take that's great example. You have the Eruv is down, and they have the rabbi with his knife in his home, and the baby in the baby's home, and they were supposed to meet in the shul, but the Eruv is down. So the rabbi could come to the house with the baby, but yeah, he doesn't have his knife, and we need a knife. So that's Hotzah. So wait, let's say you're not in Manhattan, you're not on Ocean Parkway, you're not in the major thoroughfare, you're Mapei Shemesh, and the small streets, and you don't have enough population, and it's biblical carrying. It's rabbinic carrying. Ooh. And let's say we have a Gentile. So Rav Kornfeld, he's one of the top moles out here from the Grushel. He asks the guy, can you please carry across the street the knife to Plony's house? So that's called Shvus Amira. The very Amira, the saying, is a rabbinic issue. I'm asking him to do what? Rabbinic. B'makom, in the place of what? Mitzvah, Mila. You're not going to get much bigger than that. Okay? And what's the lach? Is that mutter? Yes. Ooh, so wait a second. What if the air conditioning is on? It's really hot. A guy. So Amira, shvus to shvus, asking the guy to do a rabbinic is two rabbanans. They were lenient in the place of a mitzvah.
What was the second
Directly
rabbinic?
ask the guy.
I can ask Amira.
What was the second?
So the first rabbinic is the asking.
Yeah.
The second is carrying in a carmelis.
Carmel.
And a carmelis in a local little street and a courtyard going from backyard to backyard, or just even the street. It's not a biblical area, let's assume. So that's it. As opposed to I have to carry it across Ocean Park with or Manhattan, FDR Drive, that already could be okay. That's supposed to shvus makom mitzvah. But what if it is Ocean Parkway? And the only way I'm going to do the Mila is asking the guy to carry it across and do biblical carrying. And Mila is the mitzvah to say that if you don't do it, what's halacha? Kares. It's the biggest mitzvah to say. The only other mitzvah to say that a failure to do it, you have kares is what other? Great. It's the only other mitzvah to say that if you don't do your chayiv kares is Korban Pesach.
That's my grandma.
That's another discussion. Mangum is another topic, but there's two mitzvahs to say that if one doesn't do it, that person is chayiv kares. It's Korban Pesach and Mila. Well, yeah, it's whatever the details of the mitzvah if you fail to do. Yeah, so now you're right. And when is a person chayiv kares? The father's chayiv kares, the kid, at what age? It's a lot of details. But the chashivas of them, it's unbelievable. So And so now you have a great point. What if he has to go to carry it in a weird way? So it's a shinoi, maybe that figures out rabbanon. Great question. But in terms of the rule, shvus, the shvus b'makom mitzvah, that's what's permitted. And even meal, which is so important, you have to work out a way to have a rabbanon, which is Amira, and you ask him to do what? Rabbanon. And what if the only way to carry it is the knife? The knife broke, and he can make a fire and redo the knife somehow. No, that's the Raisa. No way. That's tikkun money. You're fixing the kli on Shabbos. No way. But Mila. Wait till Sunday. The only mitzvahs I say that Rav Yosef Karo, Rama argues, but Rav Yosef Karo has only one mitzvah I say that you can ask the guy to do a Melacha from the Torah. Only one mitzvah I say, and now I freak out about it. I'm shocked. What is it? You can only guess. Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, I am in Abu Ghosh, and I see a really nice property in Abu Ghosh that Ahmed owns, and I want it. I'm planning on starting a new community in Abu Ghosh. I was going to have you sign up in Telstone, and there are problems with Abu Ghosh. A few bikes stolen here and shooting. No. Oh no, that's okay. But there's no any violence. Okay, come on. So we gotta appreciate what they did. Okay, that's how they celebrate. But in terms of the, Baruch Hashem, it's 50, 60 years of coexistence. We have to appreciate that. So, anyways, I'm in Abu Ghosh, and let's say I'm in Telstone. It's just too expensive, and I want to spread out a little bit. So I want to buy in Abu Ghosh, a third of the price. So I say, Ahmed, come here. I see it's for sale. And come over to my house. I show him my pot of gold in my house. And I said, listen, I want to buy your house. But he says, fine. He takes the money and run. No. All the love and respect we have for our cousins, we want to be a little more organized than that. Said, I want to sign. And we have a lawyer, an Arab lawyer, the trustworthy that I trust. He signs the deed that this house is sold to Danny Myers. He writes, co-saves de Oraisa. He's writing Ksiva de Oraisa on Shabbos. But it's for the sake of Kinyan, buying land in Eretz Yisrael. Only time that Rav Yosef Karo says, thumbs up. More than your case of bris milah. It's shocking. It's shocking. I cannot believe it. It's wild. Milah, you can't ask him to fix a knife. You can't ask him to do Oraisa. But Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, that you could buy your land from Ahmed, that you can ask. I'm just shocked. So my Tzioni part of me says, wow, but I'm still shocked. It's an amazing thing. Anyways, so now that's called a shvus. Not shvus to shvus. That's a shvus on a malacha from the Torah, b'mako mitzvah. Now the Ramah has other opinions on this. This is Rav Yosef Karo's opinion. And let's so much, we saw a lot of important terms today, and it can be confusing, but Lena, I'll try to write it up. Okay, I hope I'll be able to. We finish school now. Yes.
I have a question, because usually it concerns babies and children, and there's no Erev, and all of a sudden the kid doesn't want to walk anymore. Okay.
Right.
There's something about moving it so many feet.
Right.
At a
Pachos.
So I'm thinking.
I would
that
go into
was
that,
a-
but A, I have to go, and B, it will be overload. Too many terms for
Oh,
one
okay,
day.
but you could do.
But the
that with
term is
knife,
called
right?
pachos, less than $1, less. Only in extreme situations,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Baruch Hashem, we all have errors. We don't really use that halacha much. But you're right, there are times that you're really stuck and you may need to do it little by little.
So you could do that with the Mila knife too, no?
And there could be. I'm asking. That's what you asked as well. Maybe bring it down to Rabbanan, and then you have the Rabbanan possibility. Yes.
So we lived in Muncie and the mailman, no, you can't sign for a package or
Right.
anything on Shabbos. They don't ask you, is it okay if I sign for you? If they sign
Right.
it,
So that's
what
a
do you
dot
do?
to the nashe. They're just bringing. Now you have a whole nother question. He's bringing things from outside the tomb. That's another for you. That's a great
But
question.
they can sign it, they don't ask.
You're not asking to do anything. He can do what he wants. He's not allowed to leave until he can sign. So he
What
can
if he
sign.
said, should I sign?
Because I can't tell you what to do. I can. You can tell. I'm not telling you what to do. Yes, decide. So let's just summarize. A lot of important terms today.
Wow.
Okay, a lot of important terms. Yeah, I know we're frying our minds a little bit, but believe it. Nowadays we still have school, Baruch Hashem. Not like the American schedule on some of the schools here that July, August are off. So the kids can have 8-9 weeks to just go ahead and do absolutely nothing. Baruch Hashem, we still have school. We're going through till Av, which I think it should be, but only till 1:30. So hopefully I finish 1:30, so a little more time in the afternoon. So I'll be Belina to try to, write this all up, the key terms that we have. We'll try to do that. Also, now that I'm finishing early each day, 1:30, so anytime people, Shilas don't want to talk or meet or anything, so a lot more available in the afternoons these days, this month, than, the rest of the month of the year. So let's just summarize some of the terms. So we have Shabbos, of course, is a mitzvah d'oraisa, one of the most serious mitzvahs that we have. It's the holiest day of the year. People think Yom Kippur is the holiest day of the year. Not true. Because people think, oh, Yom Kippur knocks off Shabbos regarding eating. Yes. But in terms of Kedushas Hayom, the Kedushas Hayom that's the greatest is Shabbos. Shabbos Yechayev Misa from mankind, from Eistin. Yom Kippur Yechayev Misa from Hashem. Yechayev Misa from mankind is the highest. Of course, we have more aliyahs on Shabbos, 7. Yom Kippur, how many aliyahs do we have? 6, which is another barometer of Kedushas Hayom. So the biggest Kedushas Hayom is Shabbos. And of course, you can't do any melachas. The rice is very, very serious. Then you have the rabbis that to protect the sanctity of Shabbos, they set up the drabanan isra of Amir La'akim, asking the guy to do Melacha. There's 2 aspects of the guy doing Melacha. There's the Amira, asking to do it, and then there's the Hana. You can't get Hana. Then you have to define what is Amira. You have to define what is Hana. And that's, of course, a big, big, big sugya. And then you have what happens if he just does it on his own, even ask you to do it, but you still have Hana. Yeah, but what if I'm not getting Hana, but he's just giving me clean dishes? That didn't have to be through Isser. I adopted the nafshe. He's doing for himself. He chose to do a more efficient way. So that's another important category. Then we have a new term that we saw called shvus to shvus b'makom mitzvah. Anytime I do Amira, that's a shvus. Shvus means a rabbinic violation of Shabbos. So I did a rabbinic violation by asking to do that. It's rabbinic. But wait, I'm only asking to do another rabbinic. So is that permissible totally? No. Shvus to shvus is permissible b'makom mitzvah in the case of a mitzvah. So that, of course, has a lot of ramifications. The classic would be for Shmila, where you could do that, but maybe even the air conditioning. If you say electricity on Shabbos is rabbinic, an incandescent light might be biblical, Aish, but maybe electricity is rabbinic. If you say that, so I'm asking you to put on air conditioning. That's rabbinic if you say that. So I'm shvus, I'm asking to do something that's rabbinic. Well, what am I asking to do? Air conditioning, which let's assume is rabbinic. And we're all schwitzing. Our whole Onik Shabbos is gone. Okay, it's 95 degrees. I still don't know what centigrade is. I'm here 20 years. I have no clue what it means. So I'm still Fahrenheit, and it's going to remain that way. So it's 95 degrees, and it's total. There's no Onik Shabbos. It's not like I'm being mefunak. I'm sweating. So that's makom mitzvah Onik Shabbos. So maybe you can apply it there if you say that electricity is Rabbanan. And the biggest chiddush of the day is the last one, that Rav Yosef Karo. Rav Yosef Karo, the Baal of Shulchan Aruch. He paskins that there's one mitzvah that allows you to even ask to do a d'oraisa malacha, and that is what he started making a kinyan from a guy where you can ask him to write the contract and put it into the courts to legalize it on Shabbos, which is just absolutely shocking. It's a big wow. It's a big wow.
You can't sign it.
You can. The only thing you can do is ask. But you're asking him to do a malacha, which he doesn't allow at all. The Ramah has certain leniencies. He does not have Yosef Karo. Only this one. Which means I can ask him, I can show him my pot of gold. Here's the money, so you know you're getting the real money, and sign the contract. You have an organized contract that the lawyer wrote up and everything, and you sign. He signs it on Shabbos, and he makes it a bona fide contract. He registers it, real malacha, and that's the only time. What?
You're not allowed to.
You're right. This is not chol. This is a mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, of taking it back from. It's crazy. I'm shocked that this would be more than me. It's just shocking to me. Yeah. Any question? I think you had it, Ms. Cook, you had a question, right? You're waiting patiently. Yes. Right. Now you get into the famous category of shogeg, tinok shenishba. They don't know any better. That only Hashem could judge that. That's only Hashem judges. Only Hashem. I can't answer that. That's between them and Hashem. Yeah. Very good. Mitzvah Hashem next week. What about on Friday? Set up your whole schedule. 10 o'clock, put on the lights. 12 o'clock, turn off lights. 1 o'clock, put on the dishwasher. Good you. Yeah, simple shot is no. There's simple answers that you can't. You can't go ahead and before Shabbos tell them everything to do on Shabbos. That's still part, but we'll discuss it inside. Yeah.
So what if you're in America, Amazon has 1-day delivery? I know my kids won't do it. Can you order something on Friday?
Great. So if you order on Friday and you say deliver whenever you want, and they choose to be efficient. If you say, I want it within 24 hours, that means bring it on Shabbos. To finish off. You bring your car, Musach. Musach, no? What's a Musach in English? Thank you so much. So reach a point 20 years. My English is no good. My Hebrew is no good. That's fine. So you go to a Musach and you say, listen, it's Friday afternoon, 5 for Shabbos. I need it tomorrow night. That you can't do. You bring it 5 for Shabbos. You say, listen, I need it. Whenever you fix the car, that's a dot and nafshi. They're doing it when they want. Okay. Any last questions? Then I got to run.
That's what Lady said about Barnes and the other side of the point is people who are very knowledgeable go ahead and cheat people.
Yeah, okay, so when I got in a whole nother discussion, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's very Tayag mitzvah. I got to keep all 613.
Can you, for buying the property on Shabbos, all the documents, can you ask your lawyer to be there just to make sure nothing's
This whole heter is about Melacha. Having a Jew do any kind of thing that he normally could do. That's I don't know. Simple shot is not.
He's not.
It's a good shot. I have to think about it. It's a great shot. Great shot. The heter is specifically about a guy. Anyways, okay, great topic. Mr. Shem will do part 2 next week.
You know, the Elvis Presley story, right? Somebody I know was a Rav in Tennessee, and Elvis Presley lived in his.
You know the story directly? No.